Right, I'm George Allan, and I'm the painter of this thing, the paint. This is Bradley, my stepson, and he did a lot of the construction of, it's kind of complicated back there, but in an easy sort of way. But he came up with all that, and he coordinated the most of, when we had a hard time getting the fish to swim and all that stuff. They just didn't want to do anything. So Brad came up one day and sorted it all out. And I couldn't figure it out.
I'm Brad Fitkin, and I work for a general contractor, so I kind of have troubleshooting skills, somewhat. And I'm George's stepson. And you know, this was a collaboration between George with the whole idea of the concept, my younger sister Lisa and her husband Andrew, who are video production, they have a video production company. They did the video, and I connected the wires and made the video work.
Yeah, because Lisa and Andrew, of course, they live in Washington State, and they're off all over the world with doing videos. They're never at home. And so they're very little help in a way getting the whole thing to work. And they sent us the film. When you first dreamed this whole show up, we were on a cruise, and we had fun just talking about possibilities that we could do. And we threw a lot of ideas out. I mean, really out. And then we came up roughly with this, I think. And then it just went from there slowly, you know. The first thing we got was the video from Lisa and Andrew, a preliminary one, just to see what it looked like. And then they sent better ones, and I bought this plexiglass and a TV set. I thought, well, that's my start of it. And I started to paint on the plexiglass, and Brad helped me with the frame and connecting it to the TV set, and it's a real collaboration.
Yeah, but the idea was really George and my younger sister. They came up with the concept of this.
Well,
I didn't even, they were describing it, I had no idea what they were even describing, really.
really?
Yeah, I remember.
We had a lot of laughs about it on that boat. Okay, I was drawn to the idea because of my connection with koi. I've been involved with them for many years. We've had a koi pond at our house for, I think it's 22 years. And the first time I ever started painting koi was for a big show. And we were in Ala Moana Centre, me and Janet. And there's this big koi pond in the middle of the mall, you know, and all these beautiful koi floating around. So I took a lot of photographs, and I did paintings of them. I loved them. I thought this is a really great thing. And I did a big one for that show, and I've been painting them ever since. Like with painting, doing a painting, you just slap it on, and that's that, you know. The edges don't matter much, not as much. This thing is all edges, so you have to be careful.
Speaking of the painted portion, there was an added technical challenge in that some very important instructions that came across the TV were covered by lily pads throughout the process.
Yeah.
So we had to overcome that too.
So I thought, this is really a meditation, and so that's how we came up with the name. But it is very calming.
When I was a teenager and George first came into our lives, and I was a typical teenager in Lahaina. So, you know, George had his hands full. But he would pull me in and into the studio, and I don't know, one project that comes to mind is that you were commissioned by a restaurant, a Mexican restaurant, to do what was going to look like a stained glass window with a you know, some kind of a scene going on in it. And you did it all with resin.
Yeah.
And colored resin, and it was I could tell that it was a learning process for you. It was something that you had never really done before. So, we were both in there mixing resin up. We mixed one batch of resin, I remember, that burst into flames. So, it was a learning process.
One of the big problems was Lisa and Andrew were in England, for the last couple of weeks. And so we were phoning them all the time in England, and of course, when it's 12 o'clock here, it's 10 o'clock at night there or something, it's never easy. And they sent a whole new, what do you call that, a startup system?
Well, it wouldn't work from the thumb drive off the TV. The TV has a thumb drive media player capability, but unfortunately it wasn't powerful enough, and the fish kept stopping.
Yeah.
The video would go for 10 seconds, and then the fish would stop, and then they would resume. So Lisa and Andrew had to troubleshoot what components were really needed, and we had to step up to having an actual media player back here.
Yeah.
That the video is driven by. Like I said, I was reading instruction manuals. That's all I was doing. They were sending the parts and the pieces, and I just read the manuals and plug this in here, plug that in there. We kind of, in collaborating in the past, make a fairly good mix, because he's uber creative and I'm more logical about stuff. I'm very utilitarian. Things have to work. They have to work properly, ahead of aesthetics for me. So, somewhere in between the two of us is the perfect person.
Wow. I've done a lot of kind of 3D things for different shows, at the Mac and different places. And I've always known what I was going to. Brad helped me with a lot of them too. I've always known what I was going to do, and you just carry through, and you're done in 2 weeks, max. This one, it just went on and on and on, because I didn't know exactly how it was going to work. And so I lost a lot of sleep. I didn't sleep very well while this was going on. And I'm very relieved to come here and see it up on the wall and working.
Yeah,
like
I would echo that. I mean, it was a challenging thing to be involved in, as little as I was involved in it, because I couldn't envision it. I don't have nearly the creative mindset that George and even my little sister have, who really came up with the concept. So for the longest time, until I actually saw the parts, I really had no idea what we were all talking about here. And then, and then it just became challenging for everybody to get together, or, to get the parts we needed from Lisa and make them work. And then they didn't work at first, and there were, there were issues we had to get through. But all's well that ends well.
It's always good to work with him and Lisa and Andrew. I mean, it's fun when we're doing, when we're together, and doing stuff. So it was good for me to collaborate, and I got a lot out of that. Brings us closer. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and like we said, despite the challenges and the sleepless nights, the end product turned out pretty well, so.